We have big news. We have exciting news for you. Tell them what it is, Serena.
We are super excited to announce that we are starting our first membership this January 2024.
Yay! Membership.
So we're excited to let you know that we will be hosting a monthly membership where when you join, you will be
With us live in a Zoom room once a month for a workshop like we just hosted. It's going to be a workshop like that, one topic each month, a different topic. You might even help us come up with the following month's topic from inside our membership. Super excited to meet you. It was so fun meeting a few of you in our inaugural workshop. So we're really looking forward to that.
And when you are a member, you will also be receiving a monthly newsletter where I'm going to be a little more intimate and I'll be sharing the things that are working and the things that aren't working for me.
Yeah, like taking a tool that you've learned from the podcast and how you're implementing it and how well that worked, or maybe if it didn't work. And then Amma can put in my 2 bits worth. We'll see how that goes. But a membership newsletter and a membership live Zoom room workshop starting in January 2024. Can sign up through our Patreon link in the show notes, yeah?
Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and we can't wait to see you there, listeners.
We can't wait. Yay!
Hello, my name is Serena. I am a mother to a toddler and currently pregnant.
And hi, I'm Lisa, also known as the Singing Amma. Amma means grandmother in Icelandic. I am a mama and an amma.
The beginning of my first pregnancy, I felt like I was lacking my village, which is why we are here creating a village with you in hopes that you won't feel as isolated as I did.
I also felt the lack of a village in my early parenting years way back when. I have a background in early childhood education, and I have been coaching parents in their journeys for the past 35 years. Mama Serena and I come together to have a conversation each week where we'll be talking all things parenting, keeping it real, keeping it raw, right here with you.
So thank you for joining us here at the We Are the Village Parenting Podcast. We are so happy you could make it.
Amma Lisa will get us started in today's episode by reading one of her previously published magazine columns, after which Mama Serena will join her, and together we will dive deeper into today's topic. Ready, set, here we go. Hi, I'm Lisa, the Singing Amma. This column is called Christmas Consumers. Dear Singing Amma, my partner and I are tired of the high level of consumerism that seems to shroud the joys of Christmas. How can we make the celebrations, and especially the gifts, be more meaningful to our children and hopefully more appreciated? Signed, Christmas Consumer Concerned Parents. Dear present day parents, whether it is Christmas, Hanukkah, Yuletide, or other seasonal celebrations, as I write this, the stores are already full of displays of seasonal must-have sales, and it is just past Halloween. We are inundated. To create some meaningful shifts, we must first recognize that technological, taken for granted practices, for example, turning on lights, heat, computers, impact our slide towards unabated consumerism, in that they separate us from nature itself, of which we are a living, breathing part. Celebrating winter solstice, can actually help us reconnect with that aspect of who we are, regardless of religious or spiritual background or practices. Create a bonfire. Give each participant a candle. Light one candle from the central flame of the bonfire. Each person then lights their candle off the person next to them in turn, around the circle, signifying that we are all connected, that we rely on one another for security. The fire, traditionally, equals warmth, food, safety, and we are all connected in love. And then I love to recommend singing, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine." Each person around the circle can say what their little light is shining for. This little light of peace, or this little light of love, this little light of giving, this little light of joy, whatever it might be that each person wants to bring to the circle. I've celebrated winter solstice like this so many times over the years, and with various different people in the family and friends we've been close to that year. It's really been a delight. Hosting a gifting ceremony is another way to take the focus off the necessity of giving to every single person and having a list and the children kind of getting inundated and wanting more. Everyone attending a gifting ceremony is asked to bring a wrapped, unmarked gift appropriate for anyone participating. We did this many times at our solstice gatherings. And is asked to be prepared to share the significance of his or her gift when it is received. Perhaps suggest a gifting theme for this winter celebration. The theme might be light or new beginnings, because at solstice, of course, the sun starts having longer times. So it's a new beginning. Or it could be a theme of family or what brings you joy. The possibilities are endless. As the guests arrive, they place their gift in a draped basket or box or somewhere so that no one sees which gift they have brought. To begin, place the gifts in the center of the room that you'll be opening them in, and invite everyone to sit in a circle around the room. One person begins the gifting by choosing a gift. It could be the oldest person in the room or the youngest. You get to choose who gets to start. As that gift is opened, the giver shares the significance of why they gave it. And then it is the giver's turn to choose. And around the circle it goes from giver to receiver to giver to receiver. Participating in ceremony can lend meaning and can elicit gratitude. Be joy-filled.
Hello. So this episode is going to be about Christmas consumers, since Christmas is coming up. So attached in the beginning is Emma's article on Christmas consumers. And I just did a little bit of research, and families typically spend around $997 for the
Let's call it 1,000.
yeah, 1,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Some other statistics said 1,050. And another statistic was that which one was it? Oh, there's $15.2 billion spent in unwanted presents.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is that probably just from the United States?
Yes, that's from the United States.
15.2 billion. Okay, $15.2 billion spent on unwanted Christmas gifts per year.
Yeah.
Like, mind blowing.
Yeah.
Wow. And so the thing is, where do those gifts end up, everybody? They end up being passed on. They end up
clutter in the home.
Clutter. Oh, so much clutter. And then they end up going to maybe a thrift store if you don't throw them directly in the dump. But eventually they end up in the landfill.
Yeah.
Wow. A year. Okay. Sorry, my mind is blown right now. $15.2 billion. Wow.
Yeah. I know this year it's way too much that's spent. And last year I know we spent too much. So this year we're doing gifts for the family, mainly the kids in the family, but like our niece, no gifts for the adults, just the niece or a family gift. It could be a picture in a frame, something like that. Something else I read was a lot of unwanted gifts are clothes and household items. Well, unless you know they want household items, don't get it.
Yeah, and household items are so specific for a lot of us, right? Like, yeah, that's a tricky one. And clothes, hello.
Unless you're really close, you don't know their taste.
I just have to share this as a strange moment because today is the day we're recording this is the day that it marks 9 months since I experienced a house fire and lost everything. So it's a very interesting conversation for me at this point in my life because I started with nothing again.
Yeah.
This was my second house fire. When I was 12, we lost everything in the house fire. Now, what I'm going to say is both times, and this is going to tie in, both times I was wearing not my favorite clothes. And what made me think of this story or to share this is that when I was 12, I had gotten an outfit from my auntie. And my auntie loved me and I love my auntie. And she, did what aunties do. She bought me a nice outfit. The secret is I didn't like the outfit. I didn't like it, but I wore it to school that day because you didn't want to never wear the outfit that you didn't like that auntie bought you.
Yes.
And that, my friends, was the only thing I was left with on the planet.
Wow.
Was an outfit that I didn't like that a relative bought me, meaning well. And that's all I had to my name. And then when I was this time 9 months ago, I work outside. And so I had just bought myself a couple of sweaters online because I needed some new sweaters because I was working outside 5 days a week. And this one sweater, I didn't really like it. It was kind of bigger and bulkier than I liked, but I wore it because I thought, well, maybe if I wear it a bit, it'll kind of soften up a bit. Twice I was left in clothing I didn't like. And so the moral of the story is get rid of all the clothing that you don't love.
Yes. And don't
only keep the stuff you love.
Yes. And don't buy people stuff they might not love. Let's leave that up to them.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was a little sideline story, but tied right in, I think, with,
Yes.
the auntie giving the clothing gifts.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also important to just realize that Christmas isn't about gifts. So instead of stressing yourself what somebody else would want, what to buy them, what's the coolest thing that you can get, Christmas and Hanukkah, the holiday season, is about spending time with your loved ones, creating memories, eating together, creating traditions for your family. I don't know, maybe it's cooking, baking cookies for Santa Claus and setting that next to the tree for your kids before they go to bed. And
Totally.
yes, and just creating joy, and not all about stress of gifts, because that's not what Christmas is at all. And my grandmother, she's a Jehovah's Witness, so she's completely against Christmas.
Mm,
And she just always talks about how it's about just consumerism. And that's the opposite, and how, I don't know, Christianity is kind of
totally.
brainwashing us into that. But that's because she's a Jehovah's Witness. But
Right.
it's important to remember.
And I agree with, I think those things for different reasons than she does. But I'll tell you, when they start pushing Christmas at us on November 1st, it drives me crazy, because it has become all about consumerism. When I was a little girl, 55 years ago, I was 5 years old. And when I was little, there was such magic. And yeah, we went Christmas shopping, but it was like, I don't know. I don't know if kids these days, that makes me feel like an old grandmother. I don't know if kids these days feel that same kind of magical glow. We tried to recreate it for them, I know. And it's just so much about consumerism.
Yeah.
I wanted to say another thing that some families do is put all the names of all the adults who are going to be exchanging gifts, and getting together and exchanging gifts, into a hat. And then everybody pulls a name, and then you just buy that person a gift.
Yeah, like Secret Santa.
Right? Yeah, we don't. So, I mean, some people make it secret and other people don't. Like when my family does that, we don't make it secret. But and then generally people put like a price on it. Like, let's just say you can spend $25, $50, $100 on that one gift, whatever is comfortable for everybody in your family, right? So that everybody kind of has a similar level of gift. Somebody's not getting a dollar store thing and somebody else is getting it. Handcrafted, whatever. Yeah.
That's fun doing that. And also, I think last year we did it with my husband's family. You just buy a gift that anybody could have. And then everybody brings their gift in a little bag, and you play a game. I forgot how it starts, but you choose, I don't know who gets chosen first, but that person chooses a gift, and then the next person that goes can steal that gift from that person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one's fun.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how.
I've played that at a house party that a girlfriend hosts every year. And it can be fun. It can also be really awkward sometimes. But if you're in that kind of a group or family, that can just be playful with it, it can be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some ways to cut down the costs and not worry about buying each family something or each member in the family something, because, some families are super big. Sometimes you get together. And
cutting down the costs, but also cutting down what we end up throwing in the landfills. I mean, we honestly have to stop. That item that you pick up at that store and you want to buy, think about where it's come from and where it's going.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much excess in our world, and creating a lot of these things is so creating so much pollution in the creation of it, and then in the shipping of it and the trucking of it and every step to get it, and the wrapping in the plastic. Why is everything wrapped in plastic? It's like, this thing did not have to be wrapped. Oh, one time I bought a bathing suit. She asked me if I want a plastic bag. I'm like, it's a bathing suit. She said, it's raining. It's raining. I said, it's a bathing suit.
Yeah, I don't know if they do it over there, but here in New York now you have to pay an extra 5 cents for a plastic bag.
You have to pay for bags here, yeah.
Yes.
And they're actually outlawing bags in some cities where I live now. Like they're not having any plastic bags at the stores. So, yeah. But I mean, I think that and that's good, but it has to start way before that. And we, the consumers, everything you buy, every single thing you buy, you are casting a vote. If you buy some cheap plastic something or other, you're casting a vote that says, yes, I want cheap plastic. If you buy organic, whatever, you're casting a vote for, I want to buy organic. So every vote that we cast, every dollar that we spend makes a difference in where we will go in the future.
Yes, I agree.
As humanity on the planet. Kind of heavy. I know it's kind of heavy, but it's true. We have to be so conscientious.
Yes. Oh, I just wanted to mention one good idea is my aunt. I know every holiday she always sends cookies and she makes the best cookies. And my other aunt, she sends like sugar coated nuts, and I love getting those for the holiday. And it's affordable. You can do it with your kids, which is creating memories, traditions, and it's not as expensive as buying gifts for everybody.
Totally. I make a traditional Icelandic Christmas cake. It's called Vinaterta. And the last couple of years, I got into making enough of them to sell, and it's a big job. I learned how to make it from my Emma, and I've taught my grandchildren how to make it. They make it with me every year, except for last year because of COVID. But yeah, and it's beautiful and it's unique and it's fun to make. And I have some of my sweetest memories are from sitting at my Emma's table and making vinaterta with her, because there's quite a bit of process that has to happen. And she and I would sit during this one process and she would tell me stories. And that's where I heard a lot of her stories, And so it's definitely memory building, and it's keeping traditions alive. I believe very strongly in traditions and having traditions throughout the year, and how they're so important to us as humans, because they give us in the dark time of year. That's why there are so many. I was looking up this morning, all the different celebrations around the world, because I didn't want people who don't celebrate Christmas to feel awkward in this conversation, because I think the conversation is a good one for all of us.
Yeah.
But there's Kwanzaa, and there's Hanukkah, of course. There's the solstice and Yule. There's Diwali, just to name a few, And that would be really fun. If anybody would like to, we would love to hear from you about what celebration do you celebrate at this time of year? And what does that celebration look like?
Yes.
What do you do? I mean, I know with Hanukkah, there's the lighting of a candle each night, and I think there's gifts involved for the children each night. But, we would love to hear more about the details of what other people celebrate too.
Yes. So it's not about spending people. It's about celebrating with your loved ones and creating those memories and traditions. And just keep that in mind when you're stressing out in the mall trying to get everybody a gift.
One more thing about baking. When you said somebody bakes and gives you the cookies, the other thing that's really fun to give to your nieces or nephews, depending on how old they are, or even another family member that does cook or bake, is you put all the dry ingredients in a
Oh,
jar,
yes.
layered up in a jar that can go together all at the same time. And then you put the recipe
Hmm.
on the jar that says what other ingredients you need and
Yeah,
full
that's
recipe.
cute. That's
And then
really cute.
put a little wrapping paper on the lid or, tie it up with a nice ribbon, that kind of thing. It was really fun. And then the kids
Yeah.
get to do the baking,
Hmm.
depending how old they are. But even when they're 2, 3 years old, they want to get in there with their wooden spoon.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is always making empanadas, and the kids, once they see her take out the dough, they're like, they want to sit up on the table and help her roll out the dough. They love it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my daughter who's 17 months to 3 years old, the other
Yeah.
kids that want to
Oh,
do it. Yeah.
so good. So good to involve them. And even for cutting things, when my grandsons were over a while ago, when they were younger, one is 4 years older, so he was cutting things that needed a little extra strength and a sharper knife. But the younger one, I think he was about 3 or 4, he really, really wanted to cut. And so I gave him something really soft and just a butter knife,
Mm-hmm.
and he was cutting up his thing and he was so proud.
Oh,
It's so good to involve the kids in
yes.
everything we're doing if you can find a way. And if put them in, if they start getting tired or there's nothing else for them to do in the baking or the creating of the food end of it, stand them up on a stool at the sink and put it warm soapy water in there and give them a few things that won't break and let
Yeah.
them do the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that'll take care of another half hour at least.
Yeah. Or if you're gonna use wrapping paper, getting that butcher paper and letting them
Mhm.
decorate the butcher paper to make it wrapping
So
paper.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, we recycle everything where I live. I've been in a family that was recycling since I was a little girl, so close to 60 years we've been recycling, and you can't recycle wrapping paper.
No, no.
No.
Why?
I think it's because it's got different, I don't know why. Oh, I know why, because recycling is for things that you bought. It's for wrapping and packaging. It's not for, like, you can't recycle your saran wrap if you use saran wrap. Do you guys know about the waxed cloth that you can get to put over your bowls of things in the fridge? Beeswax wraps. Look it up. Beeswax
Beeswax
wraps.
wraps
They're the
instead of
best.
saran wrap.
Saran wrap is pretty evil stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of it used. I mean, hopefully now people are using reusable containers for storing stuff in the fridge.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the glass
Me
Tupperware.
too.
Yes.
Glass containers with silicone lids.
Yes, and it
Oh,
stores the food so much longer.
yeah, and less plastic for the dump. So there's so many ways we can reduce our consumerism, around the holidays and all throughout the year. But the holidays
Yes.
is so big and there's so much excess. And, you know, I was a little bit like odd when you said that you spent $2,000 at Christmas when you were single. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. um, I, when I was a single mama, I always overspent my budget.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because I was living on disability income for a long time. That's all I had. And it's very, 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 very low. And I was determined to create Christmas. But what we did then, here's another thought. What I did was for the stockings, no children listening, I would um I would buy things that we needed, like if my daughter needed, if we needed new toothbrushes, every year we would get a new toothbrush in our stocking. And every year we would get new toothpaste and, different things that we needed in the house. But it was
Mm-hmm.
just really fun because we would have these really full stockings and there were things I needed to buy anyway. And you get the green one and I get the purple one or whatever.
And kids love toothbrushes.
Yeah. 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 So it was fun because I mean there were a few things that were specific obviously to her, but
Mm-hmm.
but it was fun to fill them up. And that's how I did it, was just getting a few things that I had to buy anyway when money was so tight.
Yes, and eliminating the waste.
Eliminating the
The
waste.
things that you need, which is
Yeah.
important.
And so many people get into such extreme stress about the money they're spending that they don't have to spend.
Yes.
And they spend it anyway because they think they should.
Mm-hmm.
They think they should buy things. Yeah.
I have 21.5% of Americans go into debt because of Christmas spending.
Mm.
21.
That's almost a quarter. That's a fifth of the population. How many millions of people is that?
Yeah. And it says
Wow.
also, I found 46% of millennials and parents with kids under 18 are willing to take on debt for Christmas spending, which is ridiculous.
Half the population.
Yeah.
Wow.
When it's not needed, and that's not what Christmas is about, or the holidays. Forget Christmas. It's not what any of the holidays are about.
The holidays. Yeah. And Christmas, I mean, the reason we keep saying Christmas is because that is the one on the planet that, the area where we live that has taken over the Christmas, idea of Santa Claus and gifts. And, you have to do all this giving and getting and wrapping, and it's just exhausting thinking about it. And we're recording this in early November. It's just like, yeah, it's such a weight that people carry, and people get frantic. And then when we're frantic and stressed, we're not as nice to our children.
Yeah.
And then when our children get frantic and stressed, either of their own accord or because they're reacting to us, they're not as nice. And then there's fights and arguments and, upsets and blow-ups between all of us in the family. And that's not cool.
No.
That's not, we're Christmas time, winter time, celebration time, going back to traditions. The reason that we celebrate in the darkest days of the year is because ancient people knew that at some point, because they were very tuned in with the moon and the stars and the sun's rotation and everything, or where our rotation around the sun and everything. And so they knew that at some point right in there is when the light starts to return. That's what solstice is, right? And they knew, and that's why they celebrated solstice in the ancient times. And they needed something joyful. They needed something uplifting. They needed a time to gather together, to buoy each other's spirits, to celebrate the light, and so that they could actually make it through those dark weeks of the year. Yeah. And so that's been my aim for most of my daughter's life, actually, has been shifting towards, why do we celebrate at this time of year? What is it about? And for some of you, it will be about your religion and your spiritual beliefs. And for some of us, it's not so much about that. It's more about the need to celebrate that the new year of light is coming and that we're not going to be just in the dark forever, because it's hard on our psyches.
Oh yeah.
Hard on our psyches.
Over here at 4:30, the sun is setting, and
us too.
So depressing.
Yeah, it's and I think it's only depressing because we have electric lights and we do not pay attention to the natural rhythm of life anymore. Mm-hmm. When it gets dark, we flip on the lights. And then we stay awake, and then we stay awake longer, and then we stay awake longer, and then we go to sleep, and then we wake up, and it's depressing because the days are so short. But if we were more in line with them, I don't think we'd be as depressed. It would just be what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was a fun episode.
That was fun. And, we would love to hear your feedback. What do you think? How is your Christmas? Anything you'd like us to expand on more on this topic? We can have conversations over at our Facebook group where everybody can chat together too. And we can pop on there and talk live anytime if anybody wants to go deeper into any conversations that we have here.
Yes, and I'd love to hear just everybody else's holiday that they celebrate and their tradition, because I just
Mm-hmm.
love hearing other people's traditions, and maybe it's something another family can incorporate into their own. And so if you'd like
Yeah.
to share that, the Facebook group is the Village Parenting Community, and we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Yeah. Any traditional foods that you use around the
Yes,
holidays?
food,
Yeah.
yum.
Food. I know. Awesome. Thanks for all that research, Serena.
Yes, no problem. I like to put things into perspective. So usually looking at statistics helps with that for me.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll be
Thanks so
back.
much for listening. Thanks for being here with us in our virtual village. We'd love you to join our Facebook group at The Village Parenting Community and on Instagram at The Village Parenting Pod.
And if you enjoy our podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have a moment, please leave us a review. It makes a big difference for us in reaching more parents out there who may be feeling alone.
Please direct message us to connect also. We absolutely love hearing from you. And until next week, we'll be keeping it real and raw right here with you.
This podcast is sponsored by the Singing Amma's private parent coaching and workshop offerings, and also by Enlightened Designs for Crafty Mamas.